I'm Jari-Matti Latvala. I'm driving here in Rally Estonia with an Audi Quattro from R3 Rally Racing Rent from Italy. And to be honest, this car is completely, not completely, but it will be still different from Polo WRC. There are similarities, but there is that it's four-wheel drive with the solid center diff, like the Polo WRC. But then the other thing is, for instance, this is a 5-cylinder engine when we have a 4-cylinder in the Polo, and in a Polo engine is pushed backwards for the weight balance more to the center, where here in Audi the engine is really front of the front axle, so there's a lot of weight on the front. And then you have a turbo here, like we have a turbo in the Polo, but it's again turbo is fitted back of the engine in the Polo WRC car. The Audi doesn't have an anti-lag system, which means that basically when you come off the throttle, the turbo will stop spinning, and when in the Polo you have anti-lag system, will help you to get the turbo spinning. And this, when the turbo is not spinning, it will make the lag effect that once you go back to the throttle, the first doesn't happen anything, and then suddenly the power comes and the response comes. It's like a big kick which you feel when the power comes. So what you need to do in this car when you are on the braking, coming to the slow corner, you have to pump the throttle to keep the turbo spinning, that you get good acceleration out from the corners. And if we then we can quickly have a look at the suspension. In old days, back in the 80s, you see the steering arm is fitted to the damper, so basically the damper is moving when with the steering. But nowadays in a Polo, like the steering arms, they are in a low position and fitted to under the upright. So basically everything in the current world rally cars is, the idea is to try to get more on the bottom, more closer to the ground, and then more to the center of the car. Is that basically that it helps the car to be more stable when all the things are very high. The moving effect is even bigger. Then if we have a look inside the car, well, to be honest, I have a Polo looks a bit different. I have an electronic screen in the Polo here where it's saying all the details about the engine temperature, oil pressure and stuff. So now everything is mechanical, because the electronics back in the 80s and early 80s was not so sophisticated yet what is it nowadays. But here is the speedo, basically the kilometers per hour. There is a turbo pressure, which will be around 1.5 bar pressure, but I don't normally check it on the stage. Then you have the oil temperature over here, and then you have oil pressure, which needs to be around 5 bar. This is a fuel pressure. Then on here is the water temperature, which is the most important thing, that you have to check that the temperature stays normally around 90 degrees. It can go up to 100, maximum 110, but not more than that, because then you will cook the engine. Then this is the charging, so the volts for the battery. This big red light here is telling you the warning that if the oil pressure or temperature is wrong, when this light comes on, it really means you have to stop. Then here I have this I need to use on the stage. It's a fan for the cooling for the engine. It's very important on the stage. And then here is a trip meter for the co-driver for the distances, and then we can see the speed. Gearbox is a 5-speed synchro box. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And means I have to every time use clutch when I go down with the gears, which means in a Polo I have a sequential gearbox without clutch, So I need to prepare more for the corners when I'm going to the corner and getting out from there. I need to bit more start braking earlier because it takes time to change, and then also I have to pump the throttle to keep the turbo spinning to avoid the lag effect what I was explaining earlier. But then inside the car you have the space is good. It's a big car, so you have a space here, so it's not very, gives you a nice feeling on that sense that that it's not so narrow. And then we can also look a bit behind the car. Obviously we have the helmets like we have in our Polo as well at the back. But the one very speciality in Audi is the oil cooler. Is here under the rear spoiler. I think this was introduced in 81 because Audi was having a problems with the cooling. So they realized that if they fit it at the bottom, and basically the airflow will cool it down, which was helping them to keep the engine oil cooler. And then at the back of the car, obviously we have the fuel tank. One similarity with the Polo: this is a dry sump, so all the engine oil will be in this box, not in the bottom of the engine as usually in the normal road cars. In the Polo, this will be this tank is fitted on the engine room, so it's on the front. Then obviously, the fuel tank, and then you have a spare tire, and then you have the jack. But what is different in a historic rallying is that normally you can service after every stage, like in the old days, and that gives you a bit more opportunity that the drivers don't need to work so much as in a World Rally Championship where you are working with the cars between the stages. And so this is a little bit more relaxed for the drivers in the historics. But on the other hand, the car is very hot. You don't have a roof vent where to get fresh air in the car. So physically it's also it's hard, but nice.